So we'll get started.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, everybody. Radhe Radhe, everyone. I'm letting everybody in now. So we will start our session soon in a few minutes. Welcome to our wonderful Patanjali Yoga Sutra session right now. 7 Divine Laws session. Wow. Hope everybody is doing good. Samji, Radhe Radhe, I see you there. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Happy New Year to all of you.
Radhe Radhe. Happy New Year to everyone.
Thank you.
It's little, we got your weather down here. Looks like it today, Chicagoland weather.
Amazing weather in Dallas.
Oh yeah, that's Dallas weather. You know, as long as I have lived in this part of the world, it never amazes me.
Right.
I've been one of the oldest residents here, so this was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's going to be one of the coldest days, one of the cold today. I
Right.
think maybe 10 degree and at night maybe 2 degree. Wind chill will be still lower than that.
The fun part, Samji, is that we were wearing half sleeves in the afternoon yesterday, and by night, 7 p.m., we were in down jackets.
It fluctuates so much.
Very, very fast, within a matter of 2 hours.
Oh, I thought Dallas, they are all the time, day and night. It's not that difference.
Right.
Like the way you are saying, it is quite a bit of difference.
Yeah, Dallas is Texas weather is strange. I mean, it's become more tropical. I've been here since '79, so it's become as much more tropical. It never used to be this. We used to get winters, but now it's weird how everything just happens overnight, and then we'll have 80-degree weather next week again. So,
It's amazing.
all right. Well, with that being said, good. I guess we can get started on our beautiful 7 Divine Laws Book Club session. So with that being said, Radhe Radhe, and recording is on. Good morning, everyone. Radhe Radhe, good afternoon and good evening to where you're traveling, where you are from. The traveling part of this journey now, today, we are going to travel about the lie. We're going to look at how lies can travel around the world while the truth is still putting on its shoes. Interesting, right? And so how to know if beliefs are based on right knowledge or fake news? Fake news. We hear that all the time. Anyway, so are your 2022 resolution based on right knowledge and beliefs? So for this and more, welcome to our 7 Divine Laws Book Club sessions today. And again, Happy New Year. So we're going to look at a powerful yet very practical topic. We unravel the methodology to form right belief. We will also learn 4 archetype defects in our knowledge: Karṇāpāṭava, Bhrama, Pramāda, and Vipralipsā. Ajay Bhai can probably say better than I can, but I tried. But here we go. So do not miss this session today. Looking forward to having everybody back. And again, Naya Saal Mubarak sabko. Radhe Radhe. With that being turned, I will turn over to Ajay Bhai.
Radhe Radhe, everyone. Thank you so much, Sunil Bhai, and a very, very warm welcome. A very, very, very happy new year. I sincerely wish that this year brings lots of devotion, lots of progress, seva, as well as sadhana on both fronts. That is where the true progress in our lives lie. That is the true goal of our life as well. So let's all resolve that this year brings in that eternal lasting happiness that we all seek for all of us. With that, let's get started with our beautiful session with a prayer like we always do. Let me share my screen. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Para Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansa Chanur Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum. Radhe Radhe, very, very warm welcome once again. As I said, we've been studying beliefs. What a nice session. It's a divine coincidence that this first session of the 2022 is going to be the wrap-up session for the entire topic on beliefs. And we have a very practical methodology, some fun-filled videos to watch, and something to understand very deeply today. And I can promise you, once you get through out of this session at the end of this 1 hour, you will take away some very, very important messages that hopefully can set our resolutions for the new year in the right direction. With that, let's have a very quick recap. As you all recall, many of you have been joining us regularly. If you have not, I'll do a very quick recap. We started this journey several months back by understanding the law of infinite potential. As you see on the extreme left, we studied topics starting from dilemmas we face in our life to understanding what is the true destiny of us as the soul. Then we understood how a growth mindset can overcome huge obstacles. From there, we moved on talking about growth to what does incremental growth look like. As we see with New Year resolutions, when we try to make big achievements, we all fall flat, right? People start off saying, "Oh, I'm going to go to gym every day," and 1st and 2nd of January, we see many people in the gym. But as 3rd and 4th and 5th January rolls out, the enthusiasm starts to die down. That is where the second divine law comes in, where Swamiji has taught us that we have to stop the lottery mentality. We have to take changes step by step in incremental ways. And that requires sacrifice. It requires small sacrifices. And collection of small sacrifices becomes a big momentum to carry forward with. From there, we entered this divine realm of beliefs, because every piece of growth, every piece of right choice, every sacrifice that we make is based on some knowledge that our intellect gets convinced with. That is where we understood that willpower and why power are two different powers and how to use them. From there, we entered and understood how bad beliefs can totally ruin or disorient somebody's life. From there, now, today, we will get into, okay, now that we understood this why power, now we understood the incremental growth and all the fundamentals, how do we practically change our beliefs? How do we practically go forward and make good beliefs? That is going to be the focus of today. Just a quick recap here. The law of beliefs. We have previously unraveled this. Just as a quick readout, the trajectory of our life is determined by the beliefs we hold in our intellect. Every word is very, very important here. The trajectory of our entire life gets determined by the beliefs we hold in our intellect. The strongest resolution that you can do this year is check your beliefs every few days, every week. Think about the beliefs you hold, because it's our beliefs that can make life great success or make the life a very, very disoriented one. Let's move forward with our reading of the book. So at this point, I will invite 7 or 8 people almost to help me read some good sections from the book itself. Let's read them together, and then we'll get into the remainder of the session. Radhe Radhe, if you can all raise your hands and feeling courageous and feeling excited and motivated, raise your hand.
Good morning, Radhe Radhe. Happy New Year. Go ahead, start with the highlighted version, please. Thank you.
Radhe Radhe is me.
Radhe Radhe, Samji.
Yeah, the way to good beliefs, the tragedy is that we simply allow beliefs to happen to us. For example, something is black message happen to us. For example, we pick some opinions from our environment. As they say in the US, the children of Democrats are Democrats and the children of Republicans are Republicans. People's beliefs about politics are determined more by the family environment than by the deep analysis. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, Samji. Thank you for so
Thank
much for
you.
being the first one, and such an interesting point here. Okay, let's
What
move on.
beliefs, right? Yeah. Let's see, Udeji, Radhe Radhe. Good morning. Happy New Year to you too. Can you go ahead and mute
Yeah,
yourself?
thank you, Sunil ji and Ajay ji. Happy New Year to all.
Happy New Year, Udeji.
Yeah, this Joseph, right? I
Yes.
have to read this from there.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah, Joseph Goebbels, minister of propaganda in Hitler's regime, knew the power of repeating falsehoods. He asserted, if you tell a lie and keep repeating it, people will eventually come to believe it. The biggest tragedy of the 20th century was caused by use of this theory by the Nazis to dupe the German nation into believe gross untruths and then leading them into the Second World War. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Should I continue or something
I
there?
think
Yeah.
we can take a pause here, Udeji.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ji. Radhe Radhe. We continue this journey with Padma Ji. Radhe Radhe. Happy New Year, Padma Ji.
Radhe Radhe, Happy New Year.
Radhe Radhe. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. So I'm reading in this cyber age, right?
Yes.
Right. In this cyber age, the situation is even more complex. Fake news, videos, and images get circulated via the social media platforms in fraction of seconds among millions. As someone said, a lie can travel halfway around the world while the truth is still putting on his shoes. Before facts get a chance, the lie has already been accepted as a truth.
Wonderful, Padma ji. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Radhe Radhe Seema Ji. Good morning. Happy New Year to you.
Good morning. Happy New Year to both of
Happy
you.
New Year, Seema ji.
Thank you, Seema Ji. Go ahead.
Which one?
From the simple logic, this one, the blue portion.
The blue portion. Okay. The simple logic is that wrong knowledge leads to wrong beliefs and good knowledge leads to good beliefs. To develop perfect beliefs, we must get perfect knowledge from a trustworthy source. That is the first step. That is called Shravanam or hearing. In the second step, we must complete that knowledge, and that is called Mananam. The third and final step is Nididhyasan, which means to decide with the intellect in accordance with that knowledge. Radhe Radhe. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you, Seema Ji.
Coming
We
into the-
continue
Yeah.
with Dinesh Ji. Radhe Radhe Dinesh Ji. Go ahead and mute yourself, please. Happy New Year.
Radhe Radhe and Happy New Year to everyone.
Radhe Radhe Dinesh ji. Happy New Year.
Yeah, okay. Hence, it is vitally important that the source of our knowledge must be reliable. What is that perfect source? According to the Vedic scriptures, knowledge originated by human beings is subject to 4 kinds of defects. Karṇāpāṭava, Bhrama,
Yeah, I can read it for you. So it's
Pramāda and
Vipralipsā.
Vipralipsā. Let's look at them closely.
Thank
You want
you
me to
so-
continue?
No, we can stop here. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Okay, so that's complete. So I will take a pause at this point, and the remainder of these, I think, will be justified to probably cover them in the detail in next session. But let's come back to a study, because what we studied just so far and what we just read is so power packed. We can actually spend hours and hours and hours discussing those beautiful words that we just read. So let's give it its due justice, and let's give it its due credit by discussing what we have just studied. But before we go there, why don't we take a quick poll? I thought, let me bring a quick poll out here for all of you, and we will.
Let me put that on.
Yes, do you have the Menti link?
Yes, I did. You shared it this morning to me. Let me get it.
Yes.
And we will do that right now to everybody. Hold on just a second.
All we need to do is just click on the link that Sunil is going to mention on the chat window in the Zoom, and you will see a slider for each of these 3 questions. Just move the slider to whether the true side or the false side. Just want to know how many of you believe Earth is flat? How many of you believe coronavirus is man-made? And if you still believe Apollo 11 moon landing was fake.
Okay, here we go. Go ahead. Earth is flat. Coronavirus is man-made. You're really touching on some real beliefs over there, right? You know, while we do this Mentimeter, really fast fact, Ajay Bhai and everybody, I read somewhere that 95% of beliefs we have stored in our minds are nothing but lies. And we suffer because we believe all those lies. Can you believe that?
See, that's what the law said, right? The law of belief is exactly that. That our trajectory of our life is determined by our beliefs. If we believe good things based on good knowledge, we will uplift our lives. But other than that, if you believe the WhatsApp factory, the Facebook machinery, and the Google Devta, then we are at God's mercy there.
Yeah, we're at the mercy of it. Everybody, it's like we rely on that more than we rely on our common sense. Common sense is not so common.
See, we got 11 people responding so far. Most believe Earth is flat is false. Coronavirus is man-made. There is a 50-50 divide. Half of the respondents believe coronavirus is not the hand of a man or a woman, and actually more than half now believe coronavirus is man-made, right here in this group. And there are a few who believe Apollo 11 moon landing was fake, and it's true for many. And 6 of you believe no, it was not fake. So, it goes on, right? Again, let's watch a very quick 1-minute video to further. If you are thinking, what does this mean? Earth is flat, right? There is a very strong movement, a interesting set of people. And if you don't believe me, watch this quick video that I'm going to bring up right now to prove it to you that there are people who believe in this word, Earth is flat. And let me quickly bring it on here. It's just a 30-second. I'm just going to show you a clip from a conference that took place nowhere else in Sunil Bhai's favorite city, which is Dallas. Let me show you.
It's all our favorite city, are you right?
Okay, so this is a conference in Dallas. Hear what goes on.
My name is Mark Sargent, and I'm a proud flat earther. The globe is already dead. They just don't know it yet. Long live flat Earth. Thank you. All right, we have time for a few questions. Yes, you.
Thank you for confronting NASA, which everybody knows actually means not always telling truths. My question for you is, we all know for a fact that the Earth is flat, okay? Yeah. But is there a general consensus as to how thick it is? Because
no.
The reason being, like, say I'm digging a hole because I got to bury a few dogs.
Right.
Am I just dropping a garbage bag of dogs into outer space?
As far as the thickness goes, when he says, oh, how thick is it? I don't know, even mainstream science. How deep is the deepest hole? 8 miles, there you go. It's like, if science can't go further than this, we don't have to either.
Mark Sargent, everybody.
That was awesome.
This is easier to understand than this. And you say, well, that doesn't mean it's right. It's like, isn't it? Why not? We believe all sorts of things, but the public tends to lean towards the easiest explanation. It's why we text instead of no.
Isn't that amazing? That this was an actual conference that took place. I'm not kidding. This is a real video from a real conference, and all of these people who attended it, they believe what they're saying there, right? So coming back, what this person said is very interesting at the end. He said that, we believe in what we are told. So what happens is, as we go through life, right, as we are a small kid, we go through schools, we go through our education, we develop biases, we develop beliefs based on the knowledge being fed to us. Many times it's our family environment, many times it's our friends, many times it's our society, many times it's the WhatsApp factory these days. This phone that we all have is a pretty powerful device these days. To me, this phone forms a lot of our beliefs these days, because everything we do, our digital life is centered around the phone. So anytime you trust anything that you read on your phone, whether a WhatsApp message or a Facebook post, ask yourself, did you check this belief? Did you check whether this is right? Or you just are believing because somebody has posted it, right? The tragedy of our life is that we allow beliefs to just happen to us without thinking, without consciously checking them. We even to the simplistic things, we just hear something and say, again and again we hear it and we start believing it's true. Again, there is a minister, as we just read in the book, in the Hitler's regime, there was a minister named Joseph. And Joseph with a G. He made a statement which was very, very interesting. He says, if you tell a lie and you keep repeating it, eventually people will come to believe it's true. And that is the tragedy of our lives. That is the tragedy of how we form our beliefs. Now, this is the man behind the flat earth conference that we just saw. We talked about fake news. Fake news, we have so many things that we have all seen and heard in the last, maybe in the coronavirus period. There was such a bigger wave of fake news. Every time some new news will pop up and people say, oh, this is happening, and it becomes before you know it, it has traveled the whole world and people have started believing in it just because their friend believes it, somebody they know believes it. The question we all need to see is, before, did we give the fact a chance? Did we take a devil's advocate view? Did we take a view that could be different than what are we being told? It doesn't mean that we become cynical. It just means to take an objective view, right? If you there's a bigger video of 18 minutes on this flat earth conference. In there, many of the people who actually attend that and are very, very vehemently behind their views, right? To the point that you become cynical of everything that you're being told. The point I'm trying to make is not to become cynical, not to become too trusting on everything. It's about taking an objective view of things. So then how do we form good beliefs? What are the steps to the right beliefs? What Swamiji told us in the session, in the book, he says, wrong knowledge forms wrong beliefs. Good knowledge, good beliefs. Many people, just because their children don't listen to them, resort to bad beliefs, the wrong beliefs, like, scolding children or beating them up is going to treat them up or is going to make them in the right path. Well, we know also from experience that children can be taught with love and emotion, right? So what do you form your beliefs based on? Is it based on hearsay? It is based on your own wrong experiences or wrong knowledge? Then the question becomes, how do we get right knowledge? And if we get right knowledge, how do we go through it? That is where the power message of today is. This 3-step process. I'm sure some of you might have already heard these 3 steps, but trust me, if you contemplate on these 3 steps, this is the wisdom, this is the power-packed mechanism that every student out there in every university, if we apply these 3 steps to learn anything, it can be committed to memory way, way, way deeper. When I was growing up, there were so many, sessions and workshops that were going around about increase your memory power, this and that. And when I got this 3-step mechanism and I have applied it many, many times, I've realized that if you just keep this sequence of 3 steps, which is Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasan, if you follow these 3-step sequence, any material knowledge or any spiritual knowledge can get committed to your memory much, much, much deeper. And this always, always works. What are those 3 steps? The step number 1 is Shravan. Shravan means getting perfect knowledge from a trustworthy source like the Vedas or our scriptures or a saint. You can use it in the material world also. If you instead get it from a wrong piece of advice like a WhatsApp factory, right? And you do Shravan of that, well, you are at risk there. Same way, what happens is news, right? So many times, news articles, newspapers publish out big articles, and later they say, oh, sorry, we made a mistake the next day, right? So we have to be careful. What are we listening? What are we watching? What are we seeing all day around? Then step 2 comes in, mananam. This is where some of you all I know very well are very excellent when doing deep contemplation. Sometimes this means sitting down with that piece of knowledge and closing your eyes and thinking over it. Sometimes it means going out and discussing this out, like attending sessions like these actually aids contemplation on divine wisdom. Then comes the step of nidhi dhyasan. This is where our conviction becomes so strong that we take a strong decision. The stronger our decision, the faster we will move on that knowledge. This 3-step process again, Shravan, Manan, Nidhi Dhyasan. Do not forget it, always remember it. If possible, write it down, mark it on a piece of paper, always have it on a sticky note on your computer, so that you will remember that if there is anything important that you need to remember, you just need to remember it again, follow this 3-step process to remember it deeply. Finally, we will not get too deep into the defects today, but I'll just introduce, just for the completeness of the discussion's sake, because there is much more in the defects, and then there is a tool that we will uncover in another session in the second half of this beautiful topic to wrap up the session, which is on satsang. We'll have a very good discussion on what are those 4 defects in detail, and also wrap it up with what is a solid mechanism to changing and crafting good beliefs in our lives. With that, let's understand quickly the 4 defects, and as I said, we'll get into the details of these defects in the next session, but just for completeness of discussion, I just quickly touch upon this. Karṇāpāṭava, this is the first one. This defect, these are defects of human intellect, of what we believe, what knowledge do we take. This one says that our senses, these eyes, ears, our knowledge senses are limited. Our intellect is also limited itself. Because these knowledge senses and our intellect is limited, the knowledge that we get is limited by that experience. And what we don't understand, we may be making wrong beliefs about it. Bhrama means trusting in something that may not be real. It's like an illusion. You think there is a water there, and you get closer to it in the desert and you realize there is no water, right? Then there is Pramāda. We make mistakes. It's said that to err is human. That means that we all are people that make mistakes. And then there is Vipralipsā. There is tendency to cheat in all of us. You just need to look deeper enough. We all have a tendency to cheat. That is called Vipralipsā, as our scriptures tell us, that because of this also, somebody tells somebody something else, whereas they actually believe something else, and just because they're telling it from a trustworthy source, the person trusts it, and then that's a defect, because we have believed something that may not be true, just because it came from a trustworthy person who may be telling a lie. With that, let's get into a second half of this session by actually having a good discussion on this topic. Let me bring up our discussion slides. And what we want to do now today is, let's spend the remainder 30+ minutes we have to hear from you, to understand from what your perspective is on beliefs, and have you applied this principle of Shravan, Manan, Nidhi Dhyasan in your life? How did you tackle some bad beliefs you might have had? And how does this all relate to this wonderful New Year gift that we have, this set of 365 jewels, as Swamiji said just a while ago, or yesterday, there was a beautiful lecture by Swamiji. You all heard that we've got 365 jewels that are studied together in a beautiful garland in front of us. The question is, are we making the best use of those jewels? So as you think about that, an important thing comes up is a resolution. What are your resolutions? around for 2022? We would love to hear them as well. One quick resolution per person may be good enough. And what belief made you choose those resolutions as well? Sunil bhai, over to you, and maybe if you can help me with some of the quotes and some reminders, that will be amazing.
Sure, we will definitely start. You know, I was reading somewhere else, Ajay bhai, the beliefs are more dangerous enemies of the truth than lies are.
That's what
Think about it. There are no shortcuts in life. So our interactive activity, we got plenty of time today. So let's definitely take advantage of this, share our thoughts, share our beliefs, you know, some of the beliefs that we have carried on. When I was growing up here, there was a session similar to this I attended, and they talked about that we carry on some of these beliefs and traditions because it always been done that way, but we never question it. So think about it. Why do we do what we do? Certain rituals, even our own rituals we do, certain things we do. Why do we do that? Because my grandmother always did it that way, you know? So those things are very important. So continue on. Let's see, Shri Ramyaji, Radhe Radhe, if you can unmute yourself, please, and share your resolution and what beliefs you made and share your experiments with those beliefs. Go ahead.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, Ramyaji.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thank you. Happy New Year to you all as well. This is my first session with the course, and so the resolution I made is that I'll wake up early, and like every year I make the same resolution again. And the belief is that waking up early is good for your health, and it's good for your mindset, and it's good for you in a spiritual way also, if you could finish your sadhana in the morning. So all these things happen even if I don't wake up early, but to get that discipline is the resolution.
Wonderful, Ramyaji. Thank you so much for the courage to come out here and share. And that's your first session. I'm so amazed that you're making such a good belief and a good resolution out there for 2022. You know, we all send you blessings. We all send you, you know, our best wishes to continue on that path and keep that strength going. You know, as we said, make sure you remember the 3-step process. There will be times where, you know, you lack the motivation to wake up early, but then make sure you remember that there are so many benefits. In our other sessions, we have talked about, you know, how to change habits. In there, we actually shared a tool. So I'll be happy to share that tool. If you can just mention your contact information in the feedback form, attendance tracker, I'll be sure to send out to you a tool that we shared on changing habits, and that can actually help you on changing this as well.
Where are you joining us from, Shri Ramyaji?
I'm joining from Bangalore, India.
Oh, okay. Radhe Radhe, good to hear from you. Thank you again for joining. We continued on this journey of our resolutions and what beliefs we chose and experiments with Sam G. Radhe Radhe, Sam G.
Radhe Radhe,
Radhe
Sam.
Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Like many of us, I made the resolution to go make the myself healthy as well, which I am also to some extent, but not all the extent. Anyway, so although I have a normal weight like everybody else also, but like I said in the past one time back, if you attach something to it, like if you are healthy, you will be living longer, and of course, and less of the health problems, and then you can, just to coin a word, you can extract more from your social security if you live 100 years or 120 years, which is probably not very many of us. Just for the purpose of coining that thing, attaching, making a link with that. The longer you live, the more money you will be getting for your living, and then you can do more seva with that money, or whatever you can do, and live your life happily, or travel around the world. So just a link to make from that one. So that is a resolution which I'm going to the gym on a regular basis, doing my yoga and meditation on a regular basis, which I'm still doing it, but it'll be more emphasis on that. That is one of the resolutions.
Wonderful.
Yes, also in 2 days it slows down, tapers down. But then again, like you said, contemplate on that one, re-emphasize, and then going back on the track. So that's my resolution, that I'm trying to stick to it even more way, and compelling my wife as well. She's also doing it. going to the gym, and doing the yoga class on a more regular basis. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Samji, for sharing that wonderful resolution. I have a friend who's a yoga instructor in Dallas, and if he was listening to you, he would just come and give you a hug, because every time I talk to him, he tells me the same thing. His pet statement is that God has given us this human body as a gift to live for well beyond 100 years. And he really, really believes it. And he says our Shastras are also out there telling us that we don't make good use of this body. We don't keep it healthy. That's why we die early, right? We eat bad stuff. We do have bad habits. And we just, if he really, really believes it, that if we change our habits, change our eating patterns, change how we eat, with the intentions we eat, this human body is intended, geared to actually live on very easily for 100 years.
Thank you, Samji.
I
Unless
believe
you
it.
get the man-made virus, right,
I
Ajay?
plan to live 120 years.
So I got a question for you, Ajay bhai. Do you
At least
keep
100 years.
resolutions while we are waiting for other folks? What's your resolution?
Well, my resolutions are to spend even more time with Seva, because I realize that Seva is the final thing I can do. Like, if there's one thing I can do more of, it's just Seva.
And how, so on the Samji point and your point, what is your accountability index? How do you account what you have done, and how do you measure your success?
Well, very simply, right? So if it's the sessions like this, when I hear back, or when the feedback tracker is my accountability metrics, actually.
Okay, that's the feedback tracker for the participant. But what about our own internal feedback tracker? How do we stay true to ourselves? Like what Samji said, make more money, make more donations, a charity contribution. We have to be accountable for our actions too.
Right. That's a very good question, actually. Let's hear from more participants. Maybe
Sure, definitely.
will answer it way better than I can.
We'll continue on with Padmaji. Thank you, Padmaji, for waiting patiently. Happy New Year. Go ahead, unmute yourself.
Happy New Year. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe.
Resolutions, New Year resolutions. I might be rebellious one here. I never had this belief, which is that resolution has to happen on a New Year day. Never had that. Somehow my body, my mind, my sensation, my perception, my intellect never said that the resolution has to happen on the New Year day, because I felt like it was like, okay, everybody is doing it, I have to do it. So that was never me. Like, I have to do it because everybody else is doing, and I have to do it. Like, it was not like by force that I do. So I don't make any resolutions actually on the New Year's day. But then I say to myself that some things which are in the back burner that are important to me, the intellectually, emotionally, physically, whether it be picking up an instrument that I left off, in some exercise that I used to do and I didn't do it, I say to myself that God give me more strength to actually have a right conviction and true conviction to get to those things which are in my back burner. That is my resolution, to say, God, give me more strength to do that. And it's for me, like, New Year is like just a pit stop, right? And I don't want the pit stop to be a mandatory thing, and I just go by the flow of what I feel. So I make when I let it happen to me, but I don't force it upon myself. And that works very best to me. My intellect is convinced that is my New Year day. It could be tomorrow, it could be in April, it could be in June, whenever that is a New Year day and a new life. So that is how I see things. But I do want to request Ajayji, like the slide.
Yeah.
Padmaji?
We lost you, it seems.
Well, go ahead, Padmaji. You got muted yourself. Go ahead.
I know, somehow I got muted. So if Ajayji can go back to that particular slide where there was step 1, step 2, step 3, I just wanted to so that is my resolution. Resolution doesn't have to happen on the New Year day.
I'm just going there.
I believe with you, Padmaji, because I think I also look at that way. Every day is a brand new day to make a new resolution.
Yeah, so that's how. So this is very, very deep. This particular slide, for me at least, is very, very deep, because not just spiritually, when we take things, everyday things, differences between our own mind, differences between two human beings, differences between relationship, differences between fundamental differences between the environment that we work with, people that we work with, right? If somebody will go to the gross roots, right, the arrow is pointing from the left to the right. wrong knowledge leads to wrong belief. Good knowledge leads to good belief. But if fundamentally, if a person is so stuck in not knowing what is wrong knowledge and what is good knowledge, here we are all in the spiritual path, and we are saying good knowledge comes from scriptures, good knowledge comes from guru, good knowledge comes from Bhagavad Gita, good knowledge comes from spirituality, the divine interventions. But if fundamentally, if people or society's beliefs are not funded by these grounds, then they will have their own beliefs. And this is what we believe, these terms like right or wrong is like everybody would come up with their own thing to say what I believe is the right thing. That's where I think fundamentally many of the confusions that we have within ourselves and between people shakes the ground is really shaken, because if we say, what I believe is right, what somebody else is right is our wrong, and what our right is somebody else's wrong. But if everybody is on the spiritual path, then we can say, hey, you know what, I might be wrong, but here is a reference to spirituality, here is a reference to Bhagavad Gita, here is a reference to Vedas, and this is what they are saying. But not everybody is on the same platform, and I think that is where everybody we can be fundamentally shaken at the ground level, is what I think, and that gives a perspective to contemplate upon where we stand in relation to our own self, with people, jobs, and relationships. Just a thought.
Wonderful point, Padmaji. In fact, to extend your point there, to me, when I think about it, right, every piece of knowledge that we take from the world, right, just like I was saying earlier, it's whether you believe something that you read on a WhatsApp message or a Facebook or a friend tells you, it is actually sinking in your mind. It is leaving an impression somewhere deep down and forming a belief. And the more you repeat it, the stronger that belief gets. So well said, Padmaji. I could not agree more. Thank you so much.
I agree, Padmaji. You got very, 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 very beautiful points. And I think being on the spiritual path does, we can accept our mistakes, but when we deal with the outside, everybody's molded into their own beliefs of what they are living by. So it becomes a challenge. So we just have to focus on our journey and take care of and if you want to be successful, you must respect one rule: never lie to yourself. So we continue on with Anshumanji. Thank you, Anshumanji, patiently waiting. Radhe Radhe, go ahead. Go unmute yourself. Thank you.
Yeah, so Seema ji was actually, she raised the hand before me, so I think we should go by the turn.
Sure. I mean, that's yeah. Go ahead, Seema ji. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Thank you, Anshumanji.
Thank you, Anshumanji.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, everyone knows that my father just passed away, right. And me and my brother, we did the final rites, and now I feel a void in my life. So I was talking to him yesterday, and so what do I do? What do I replace it with? You can't just have a void. So I'm redefining my purpose in life. That's my resolution. New Year's resolution, redefine the purpose of life. What else can I do? And then Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasan. I think Nididhyasan, knowing, consulting the intellect and deciding what. More than that, I would give credence to Rupa Dhyan meditation. Listen to Sri Krishna's words in my meditation. And that's what I did this morning. And I got my answer to that. And which is basically Jana Seva. Continue with Jana Seva, which like Ajay ji, you were saying, you enjoy taking these sessions. That is Jana Seva right there. Yes. And just pray to Sri Krishna, send me some more Jana Sevas that you want me to do. Allow me to be your instrument. And to Padmaji's thing, absolute truth is only one. The rest are perspectives of the egos. And however many people are there in this world, are that many egos and that many perspectives. And we have many, many egos. Like Swamiji said, the little children, you take care of them and there's some more sprout. So this is a process. But if we stick with the absolute truth of God, then in the meditation, getting that meditation part full, then we are naturally guided towards sattvic shubha sanskars. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Radhe.
Beautiful message, Seemaji, and we wish you that your goals that you're going to set, the purpose that you're going to define is aligned with the spiritual path that you're on. We wish you very good luck for that. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you, Seemaji.
Thank
That
you.
was beautiful. Let's see. We have Shumanji. Radhe and Shumanji, thank you for keeping me in track there. I just kind of what showed up. You showed up first, so I went with you. But thank you for that, keeping me in line. Thank
Yeah,
you.
Radhe Radhe, Ajay ji and Sunil ji, and wish you and everyone a very happy new year. And also all the best, Ajay ji and Sunil ji, for your seva efforts in the coming year. I think last year was really good, and I'm sure you will take this session to the next level in the coming year. So coming back to the question regarding resolution, one of the resolution for me is giving more time to God and making God a priority. Now, the belief is that the ultimate goal is God realization, and I believe that it is possible in one lifetime. So giving God a priority is one resolution. Second thing is to focus on health and fitness by exercising every day, by healthy eating, by breathing correctly, and so on. And again, the belief here is that the human form is very valuable and very rare. And we have to make the best use of human form. And the body is the temple of our soul. So if we actually give that much importance to our body, in which the soul resides, which is part of God, and without utilizing our body, if we don't live long, the probability of realizing God will be much less. So it is very, very important to take care of the body. If that is a belief, everything else will follow, be it 10,000 steps or being eating healthy, avoiding sugar, and so on and so forth. The third one is being the best version of myself by overcoming procrastination, by taking massive action in all the areas of life, by assessing where I am in the different dimensions, and then what steps are to be taken to improve in all these areas. The belief here is that there's a tremendous scope of improvement all the time. And as Swamiji says that if we can improve 1% every day, then when we, after a year, we will actually grow in all the areas. And also, I think one difference this year I would like to make is that I think every time we make the resolutions, but then we falter. But this time I will do it with personal integrity. And that is to do what I believe and to believe in what I do. And I think very, very important will be to pray to God and Guru for their grace, because nothing is possible without their grace. So that is what I wanted to share. Thank you.
Amazing, amazing, amazing addition to what we discussed, Anshuman Bhai. The power of prayer and the power of satsang are the two tools that we're going to discuss in the second half of second half of this topic that we'll probably cover in the next session. But thank you so much for mentioning that. This is the way to go about, with the conviction, as you said, right? On the path that you've chosen, the priorities that you said that make God number one priority. Like just a while ago, I was listening to one of the wonderful videos from Swamiji himself, and he says, our time that we have in the day, if we just look at, like, in a bank, you have a passbook, right? If you look at a passbook of your day, where you spend your time will tell you where your attachments are, right? If the attachments are in the divine realm, you will naturally spend more time with divine subject and with God, right? On the other hand, if you're attached to worldly things, you'll be your time, your energy, your money, everything will flow in that direction. What a wonderful gem of a resolution you're making, Anshuman Bhai. Thank you so much for sharing it.
Manji, beautiful said, and I totally agree with you. God realization is possible in this life, and I wish you all the success on that body is a temple of our soul. I love that. Thank you, Shumanji. Beautifully spoken. Always. Thank you. We continue on this journey with, let's see, Sudhirji. Radhe Radhe, Dr. Sudhirji. Go ahead and meet yourself.
Radhe Radhe, Dr. Sudhir. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Radhe Radhe, Happy New Year to all. I just want to add a few things. Anshumanji has really added a beautiful. Basically, what we look at New Year is we look at how we have been doing it in our daily routine. This is basically, we want to make sure what our daily routine is correct, or we are modifying it. We go back to it and check, are we doing perfectly? It is just a reminder for us. I just saw a nice message in our satsang. What is it? What is new year? What is new in you? What is new in you? What is going to be new in you? How will you become the new you? Towards this comment, I know you, but the new you is better than what you are before. So this is a very nice way to look at every new year. We need to look and see how we can become better of what you are before. And I think getting a good daily routine and revisiting it once in a month, not required to be once in a year. I think it's very important, and giving good time for meditation, sadhana, and equally distributing towards all the holistic way of well-being and the work-life balance. All that we need to put it up, retrospection and introspection at the end of the day, which is again going to help us to see what we are, whether we are in the right path or not. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Wonderful message, Dr. Sudhir. I just love every bit of it. And I especially love your background with the forest in the background that you have. Any reason you especially like that background?
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for continuous making this journey and all the pearls of wisdom with your knowledge and all your accolades. Thank you very much. We continue on with Nishji. Radhe Nishji, if you can unmute yourself. Go ahead.
Radhe Radhe, everybody. My name is Bhrama, and in short, I usually keep my short name as Nish. But anyway, thank you to Happy New Year to all of you first, and great many thanks to Ajay ji for sending me the invite to this reading club. I'm
Chandji, thank you so much for joining.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. I hope you can hear me fine.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So yeah, this is my first day today, and I'm hearing some really good thoughts here, and all the great things that are being said already. As for New Year resolution, I think I sort of tend to go with the thoughts that Padma ji had already shared, and I usually don't make resolutions, not on the very first day anyway. The New Year, English New Year is highly overrated in my view. I've realized that in just a recent past, not too long ago, is that this is we go through this holy month of the Kartik month, and there's so many important and major and amazing festivals that happen all through that month, that this New Year actually just pales in front of all of that. But in any case, in keeping up with the spirit of this discussion, my resolve this year, moving forward, and like somebody also said, like every day is a new day, and we can make resolutions any day we want to. I would like to read more, and that kind of goes along with the theme of Shravanam and Mananam, is to read more, because we live in this age where there's a glut of information. There's so much. We have our minds have to process so much information these days. It's really getting we're getting overburdened with within this digital world. Information is getting cheaper, and it's not just easy or cheaper to get, but also the quality of the information itself is getting cheap, because we're not getting all the information from the rightful sources. So I've always had this challenge whenever I go to. I try to verify whatever new information I get. I do try that, but it's not always possible, and that's where I always come to a standstill. Like, what is the rightful source? I know we have our scriptures, but I can't. I cannot read all of the scriptures, and how do we judge which is the right information? And I know I'm just kind of thinking out loud here, and I'm not necessarily asking for some suggestions, but I think it's a journey. We have to kind of determine ourselves which is the right source of information. But some of our beliefs are also kind of so deeply embedded in us it's hard to let go sometimes. And I guess by reading more and getting, hearing more and, from the bona fide sources, obviously, that will probably kind of make us go, to the path of believing in what is the ultimate, what is the right, what is the truth. So sorry for taking so long, but thank you for giving me the opportunity. And yeah, I hope to join again back soon. Thank you.
Nishantji, wonderful, wonderful points you make and the wonderful question you ask. Like, how do we know what information or what piece of knowledge is the right knowledge? Just as a quick peek, just to give you a teaser to our next session, next week, we are going to discuss, what do we believe? Exactly the question you asked, right? So the small version of that is that the Vedic scriptures and our guru, who we choose as our guru, those are the only two bona fide sources of right knowledge that we need to trust upon. Everything else, we need to have an open mind and then go through the process and see whether it leads to the right experience for us or not.
Right.
Beautiful. So
discuss that. I think there's many more things coming in the next session, but let's just give you a teaser to that one for now. But wonderful, wonderful points you make, and love that you joined today. Thank you so much. Continue to join with us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So Udayji has mentioned on our chat window the resolution for New Year's 2022 to reduce kusang, increase sadhana time to read books like Bhagavad Gita and practice these 3-step Shravan, Manan and Nidhyasana. Now, Ajay Bhai, Anshumanji has put us on the spot here. He wants to know, Ajayji and Sunilji, it will be nice to hear about your resolution and the beliefs behind them. I'll let you tackle that because, I'll tell you simply, I have never made any resolutions because I know I agree with Padmaji on that point. Every day is a chance for a new resolution to learn something different. So I don't believe in that, but Kajiji, go ahead. That's for your Anshumanji.
Yeah, it's a very wonderful point. Actually, the way I was thinking about it is actually, I base it on Swamiji actually every year gives a New Year message. So 2 years ago, he was giving a message in which he said very interestingly, he says, New Year, the English New Year as we know it, obviously it pales in comparison to what we know from our scriptures with the whole Janmashtami and other celebrations from a Hindu New Year and everything, but it's still a logical point, logical nodal point is what he said. It's a logical nodal point for us to take a reset. It's like, okay, the year has ended. Let me just take a deep breath and pause for a second. Rather than just running, it's always good to take a pause because the natural thing is there. We have holidays out there. We meet friends and families. We get some time out from our work schedules. So the whole system is geared to allow us some time to sit back and relax and think, isn't it? And because it allows you that opportunity, it becomes a logical nodal point to sit back and say, what are things I really care about? And have I spent this 365 days that that have just gone by in the things I really cared about? And can I reorient something? Can I make small incremental changes in the coming days to reorient the direction of my life to where my beliefs are? So going back to what Anshumanji is asking, so I have some practical things that I'm actually working on. Like for example, my financial life. At some point, I want to organize it a little better so I can do more seva and sadhana, because that tends to occupy a lot of our times as well. For me, although I'm a finance MB, I've not spent that much time organizing or setting my financial life in that logical place where it can be done and shut, right? So we all need to work on that. So I've recently realized that I need to take care of that a little more than I have. That's one thing I'm doing. Then increasing my time in my seva activities to more than what I am currently doing is a feeling I'm getting again and again. I will definitely work on that. The parenting session is one of those things that I'm working on. So that will be launched very soon as well. Thank you so much.
For me, every day is a blessing to do. I've been so blessed with everything, and God's grace has been so wonderful as I reflect upon a lot of situations in the past. It could have been worse, but it's His mercy and His God's grace. So every day I become a much more strong believer. And with that resolute, it keeps me going. It keeps me going like an ever-ready bunny charger, just continue running. Ajay Bhai knows my schedule, how I just run. And I love it. Every day is God's grace. Thank you.
Amazing, Sunil Bhai.
We'll continue on with, let's see, Jatinder ji. Thank you for patient, and we'll come to Padma ji in a second. Jatinder ji, go ahead and mute yourself.
Radhe Radhe, everyone. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year to you too. Thank
I
you.
would like to say two things in terms of the New Year resolutions. Um, I always working on, my ways of thinking, living, doing things, recycling, improving and renewing, refreshing on an ongoing basis, on and off. So there is no New Year resolution per se, but that being said, I also think that while New Year resolution is going on, so there is that positivity of mass consciousness. So I, I like to take advantage of that, or rather be part of that good positive vibrations and throw another resolution in here and there. This year, what I've done is I've taken my deeply embedded belief or misinformation that I have held for so many years, which was that I could not do certain exercise, only yoga and light activity, which was really challenging for me. So I have lived with that, because every time I'll go on elliptical or any cardiovascular activity, I will have this pain in my brain. It wasn't headache, it was like a deep brain, uh, just like the way when you have a severe concussion or something. So I prevented myself doing that exercise. But because I've been taking these sessions by JK Yoga, so I felt really, really renewed and realized the power of good mind over bad mind. So I started 6 days ago doing exercise despite my pains. And I'm really confident that I will overcome uh, that pain and will be able to do this exercise regularly, more on a consistent basis. So I have put my bad mind and good mind one-on-one, and very confident, that I will be able to win over that. So that's it for me.
Wow. Jatinder ji, that's a very personal thing, and thank you so much for sharing, because there's so many people who deal with those practical health problems, right? And that trap us or that drag us down. And the belief that you made is that this knowledge can uplift you, and you've probably experienced it already, as you said, in the several weeks or months that you've been with JKO. That's amazing to hear. In fact, just got reminded, Sri Maharaji had one lecture where he was talking about the feeling of pain. And he said it's our brain, it's our intellect that actually creates that feeling from the senses that we get, like from the skin. If something happens, it's our skin sends a message to our brain, and then we say, oh, it's a pain, right? But he gave a very interesting example, just very quickly I related. He said that when you are in pain, and let's say somebody comes to you with a very happy news, that's some neighbor or friend comes running, hey, I got this amazing news for you. For a few seconds you totally forget the pain. Isn't that true? It happens to me, happens to all of us, right? For those few seconds, what happened to that pain? It is just that our mind decided to focus on something else. That's exactly what I think you're referring to as well, that you're going to make a commitment to win over that pain and focus on the positivity and focus on the positive energy. Thank you so much for sharing. It's a wonderful message. Loved it.
That is so beautifully said, because I totally agree with you. And I think we talked about this once before, Ajay bhai, that belief determines our behavior. So when we believe lies, they become the building blocks of our behavior. So when we change what we believe, we change our behavior.
Absolutely.
That is so beautifully. I like that. Congratulations. Continue on your success, and we want to hear more from you down the road, how you're progressing. Thank you. Padmaji, go ahead and mute yourself.
Radha, just a thought, and then in the light of what Varmaji has said or expanded on what my fundamental question was, this divine knowledge or the clarity of thoughts of what is right and what is wrong is easy for somebody who is already ready in that state of mind and sitting here and accepting what is presented to us from a very spiritual and scriptural point of view. But fundamentally, if we want to use this knowledge, not for self-growth, not only for self-growth, but not only for self-conviction, but if you want to impact other people, and impact the society, fundamentally, this right knowledge has to be questioned objectively and subjectively. I think what I am looking at or hoping is, Ajayji, like next session is going to be so important. I feel like, there's objective questioning and the subjective questioning of what is presented to us and how we can apply that. If that can be like a core or the nucleus of how that information can be given to us, that I feel is a weapon for every single person who is on this call to have that conviction to how to apply it elsewhere. And I think fundamentally that will be the bigger, I would say, not just self-containment, self-improvement or self-conviction, but be able to use that transparency from these sessions to be able to give it to more number of people that we encounter. That's what my mind was thinking, or where it's going. Just wanted to put it out there.
Beautiful.
Update Padmaji, actually so true, right? Really makes a point that, once we take these tools and, apply that objective mindset. See, first of all, I think there is also a bit of humility needed in this, right? Because once when we are in a place of ego and say, we know what is right, then we are not even open to change. The first thing that we need to enter the door of spiritual pathway, I think the first door that we have to all continue to unlock is having a humble mindset towards everything. First have a humble mindset, and that opens it up, and then say, okay, let me accept that there are other beliefs out there. Let me understand and take an objective view, not from a place of attachment, not from a place of rag or dvesh, right? Both are wrong. And then having an objective mindset. In fact, in my office, so our CEO had last year sent out a holiday message. In that, she was actually mentioning, and I found it so powerful. She said she had recently lost some family member, and she was kind of mentioning how she's been able to come over very big difficulties in her life with just one tool, and it had a direct relation with Bhagavad Gita. All she said was, I always have an objective viewer mindset. It's like, wow, this is a very CXO level person, executive person, telling the same thing that our Bhagavad Gita says, with no background in Bhagavad Gita, but from a practical experience, you realize it. So that objective mindset is just an amazing tool.
I think that's wonderful, Padmaji, what you just said, because that's so true to the root of it, because we are all different and unique in every perspective and objective and subjective ways. And, it'd be an experiment that we should do, Ajay Bhai, one day is, I know that we are all on the spiritual path, but bring in folks that are not on the path, and maybe we can do some Mentimeters, and maybe we could do some question and answer session, and let's see how, not to change their views and not to change anybody's mindset, but just to see what their thought process is in this. Because I have this argument with my kids all the time, when my kids are older, and we talk about this all the time, and it will be a very, very interesting, open-minded discussion. What Padmaji said, I totally agree with you. And Swamiji had the lecture too, right? One time there was a discourse about that. He was sitting at the airport and he was watching people. Some was distracted. The parents were distracted. The older couple were talking. So that's a experiment right there, is a research. You could just go sit in a mall and just observe instead of participate, and you'd be surprised what you see. That's so beautiful.
And you'll be more surprised. Just start watching YouTube for all the kind of weird things it showed out there. Well, this flat earth theory that I was talking about is one of those examples, right? So many people actually, they're holding formal conventions and they believe that all the science is wrong, and what they know, those hundreds of people, what they know, that they think that earth is right. They have their instruments. I'm telling you, there's a whole 18-minute video. If I show you that, you'll say, oh man, these people have really thought through their theory. They're taking cameras and pictures and proving it out that earth is flat.
Conspiracy theories are very big on everything from anything. I mean, if you really want to see, we live in Dallas, JFK assassin, just read about that and you'd be like, it just mind-boggling. But, that's people's beliefs.
Right. Well, wonderful. Let's hear from Sam.
Samji. Radhe Radhe Samji. Thank you for waiting. Go ahead.
Radhe Radhe, I know we are running out of time, but other day some question came. I was talking to my son and my brother-in-law. They are strong believers in ISKCON. So they brought about the ISKCON. They have the Pramāda, it's like the hierarchy, all the way going back. And in our case, JK, he was mentioning that only up to Karṇāpāṭava Maharaj, there is no backward thing, then how can that be authentic, or this is the point of discussion? How can that be more authentic? And other one is from going through so-called the hierarchy, maybe 10 generations, so-called generations is there. That is more authentic, like the mother, the daughter learns roti making roti from mother, and then from her mother, things like that. So, and I know when we are running out of time, in a brief, you can mention anything on that?
Absolutely, that's Samji. That's a wonderful question, actually. So, regarding Kripaluji Maharaj, I can say whatever I'm going to say is going to be not worth what his personality is, but the little I can tell you is that there are two types of Siddha Purush, right? There are Nitya Siddha Purush, and there are people who take divine avatars or will get God realized in this life, right? And there are the type of saints who actually descend from divine abodes. So that's a short version of it. That Kripaluji Maharaj is in the other category of Nitya Siddha saints. So to me, that's how I take it, that he also has a guru in form of Lord Krishna himself. Definitely, and obviously there's more explanation, more understanding.
Maybe some other day we can discuss it with you. Another thing I was, since we are on the line, I was reading on your website, there is and somebody else handling the Patanjali Yoga Sutras at 7 a.m. in the morning. Is it you or somebody else handling it?
That is a separate session going on. So that is, I forget what's the name of the instructor, but there is another Patanjali Yoga Sutra. So now what has happened is, just for a reminder, we have clubbed all the online sessions so that people are confused with so many WhatsApp groups. So it's all under one umbrella. One single message comes out with all the classes. So you don't have to go to different groups. One single reminder message, all the classes are listed, and you can pick and choose, just like it happens in any university or any formal training college, right? So you have all the classes. Now you see which one is you're experiencing the biggest benefit and which one you're keeping a good pace of momentum with, and you join that way.
Okay, no, that's okay, understandable. Since it didn't mention the name of who's doing the seva, is it you doing or somebody else? Thought maybe you are picking up one more day, since the name was not mentioned.
Oh, yeah, that's a very good point. I think we can start, I can take that feedback and start mentioning it, if possible. I know some sessions mention the name of the instructors and some don't, so maybe we can make it a more consistent thing.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Gee, wow, what a journey, Ajay Bhai. What a way to start out our New Year special. Beautiful, beautiful. So many beautiful stuff. So we got, let's see, Kiranji and Nishji. Kiranji, go ahead. Radhe Radhe, thank you for waiting. If you can unmute yourself.
Radhe Radhe. Just I want to say that he asked about Patanjali Yoga Sutra. The name of the instructor is Pranayji.
Okay, that is Pranayji. Yes, perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Ji. Ajay Bhai, what were you saying?
No, I was just saying that I hope I'm not taking away time from something other coming up now. Can we take?
I don't think so on this. I mean, we got yoga coming up now, and then of course we got satsang in the temple today because of the weather. I think we have posted live. So I guess with no one hands on, with that being said, what do you say, Ajay Bhai? We continue this session with our next book club coming on, our Patanjali Yoga Sutra on Wednesday. How about that?
Absolutely. So please join us back on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central Time, which is Thursday, 7:30 a.m. India time, for a Patanjali Yoga Sutra class. And then we'll have a Friday class on Science of Mind Management. That will be such a beautiful week for the starting of the new year. I wish you all the success. I wish you all the progress. Just like my wallpaper says, my biggest buzzwords for this year are more devotion, more seva, more sadhana, and leading to better progress for all of you. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Radhe
So with
Radhe.
that being said, from my part, I just basically like to share that, we have come this far on this journey, 2022. So may you all be content and find happiness in everything and gratitude and continued gratitude for all we have and the love to all that we encounter daily in our interaction and continue to get ourselves out of the darkness of our ignorance, and we make the difference in each other's life from here with nothing but love, and looking forward to continue this journey. Ajay Bhai, thank you for making me part of this.
Love that message, Sunil Bhai. Thank you so much. And please, please, please feedback, fill in the attendance tracker or the feedback form. We would love to hear any reflections from you. We've completed a lot of months, so we've completed 2021 is behind us. Any thoughts you get on how we can improve it, any feelings of gratitude, please do use it. That is my biggest way to hear from you, and love it that for many of you who've been already mentioning that. I love it. Thank you so much.
Take care. With that being said, I will close the session out and close the recording and then close the session out in a few minutes. Thank you.